YouTube, welcome back. PPS back here. It is our October 29th YouTube Play of the Day video coming at you guys for some college football this morning. Did put out a vote poll over on Twitter, and college football seemed to be the overwhelming favorite to be the plays for today. So, yeah, let's get through our recap from yesterday. And unfortunately, our run came to a close. Kevin Porter really didn't do anything in the second half. I think he had 18 in the first half, points, rebounds, assists. But unfortunately did not get there. 6-1, 4.85 units profit. So over on the NBA and a ton of college action today, right? There's a lot of conference matchups. Not many huge totals like we've been seeing recently, but two spots that I do really like today on the year for our play of the day videos here. 13-10, 2.98 units profit so far. I'll have one prop and one total for you guys. So the total starts early, so make sure you lock that in right away. And I'll kick it right to it. TCU, first half over 34.5, minus 110. Absolutely love this spot. Smash spot for TCU. But also I think TCU can be got in the secondary. I think JT Daniels definitely has had a lackluster start to the season. I don't think this is what we expected him to do so far, being the signal caller over at West Virginia. But this West Virginia team is atrocious defensively. I think we could honestly see 28, 24 from TCU. But I also think, like I said, TCU's secondary can get got in this matchup. But just let's start out with West Virginia's defense, right? They're the bottom five in pass in a lot of these passing categories defensively. They're the worst in the Big 12 here. And Max Duggan has been on one, right? He's been absolutely fantastic. Dugan's almost 1,900 passing yards. They have an alpha receiver now. Quentin Johnston is back to what he was projected to do before the season even started. And I also really like Darius Davis. He's an elite speed guy. He already has 4 touchdowns this season. I think Dugan's legs to go along with Kendre Miller. Gosh, I can't say his name. He's been absolutely elite. His workload is just getting more and more since these guys are kind of getting ahead of a lot of these teams. This total is actually hit in 3 of the 4 conference games for TCU. It's hit in 2 of the last 3 for West Virginia. And West Virginia has given up 38-plus points in their first 3 conference matchups here, starting with Texas. This is just a very tough spot for West Virginia defensively. But I don't think that TCU is going to shut these guys out in the first half. I've seen enough of these guys. I've watched honestly more than I would like to say I've watched with these guys, but we've seen Kansas State put 28 up on them in the first half last week. They've actually been much better in the second half defensively. We've seen Oklahoma State put up 24 in the first half on them a couple weeks ago, and then only have 10 points throughout the rest of the game, right? And then obviously the Kansas game, they did very, very well defensively in the first half, and then gave up 28 to a backup quarterback. So their defense really isn't great. I think Daniels can do enough to get us over this number, but I'm really going to be relying on Max Duggan here and that offense to take care of most of this business. I think this is going to be an absolute mess. TCU is going to beat the crap out of them. But I do think that in this early start, we can get a couple. It is a letdown spot for TCU coming off of that big game against Kansas State. So I think we can get a couple points from West Virginia here early in that first quarter. Second, if you guys have props, this is a prop I would go to. I will be playing him in Stat Hero all over the place. I love Caleb Williams today. Caleb Williams, USC, over 292.5 passing yards. This is DraftKings right now. I absolutely love this spot here. Facing off against Arizona. Arizona has been atrocious defensively. I don't even know if I count Colorado as a Division I team because they are that bad. But the 3 other conference games, 49 points allowed to Cal, 49 points allowed to Oregon, and then 49 points allowed to Washington. That is what their defense has done so far this season. I like that their offense actually does enough to keep them close, right? They lost by 18 to Cal, 27 to Oregon, but that's obviously Oregon who's playing unbelievable. Bo Nix looking like a Heisman candidate here. And then obviously Michael Penix for Washington. Michael Penix threw for over 500 yards last week. Bo Nix ran for 3 touchdowns, and on top of that, threw for 265, right? and Williams is just as athletic there. And then Cal, they got Plummer, right? The old Purdue quarterback, 245 and 3 touchdowns on only 28 attempts, right? So I think that both of these receivers are going to have massive workloads here. Addison and Mario Williams, both fantastic, could pretty much win at any point in their individual matchups. One thing I did want to talk about is Travis Dye, the very good running back, pretty sure from Oregon, the USC running back now. Even in wins, right? I mean, we've seen him against Arizona State, right? They won by 17. You'd expect some running. Only 13 carries, right? Oregon State, they only won by 3, but he had 19 carries. They won by 28, only 11 carries against Fresno, and only 14 in a 13-point win against Stanford. So he's not really getting a ton of work on the rushing side, but he does have 16 catches. He got 8 in his last 3 games. I think that's a very big part of this offense, and I think that's how they're going to get him the ball, to try to get him in space. And that obviously helps Caleb Williams' passing yards here. I mean, you can't go against these guys when you're running out. Like I said, you're running out a guy in Jordan Addison who should be a first-round pick this year. We saw him in a competitive game last week, almost threw for 400. I think you're going to want to see a good bounce back for Caleb Williams in this one. But I mean, how do you go against these 2 wide receivers, right? Mario Williams is a number 1 on probably 90% of college football teams, Division I college football teams. You have 39 receptions for Addison, almost 600 yards, 7 touchdowns. Mario Williams averaging almost 20 yards a catch with 4 touchdowns. Both those guys elite speed, have the ability to break one deep. And I think Caleb Williams is the beneficiary of this one as well. A lot of room on the secondary to work, and Caleb Williams should absolutely have a field day here. So I'm rolling with Caleb Williams over 292.5 passing yards, DraftKings line there, and I'm going to TCU first half over 34.5. That one starts at 11 Central Time, so make sure you lock that one in early, guys. Again, 13-10 on the season. Let's get it to 15-10. It looks a lot better, and I'm very excited to hopefully get 2 winners for you guys. So have a good one. Smash that like button if you haven't already, and hopefully we'll be coming at you guys with a sweep.